Okay, welcome America, welcome Justin Bieber. Today we are going to be recording two problems on how to solve system equations using matrices. The first one's going to have an actual solution, and the second one's going to have no solution. So I kind of want to show you an example of both. So let's go ahead and start. I will attach the worksheet, and we're going to start with problem number one. It's really, the type's really light, so it's kind of hard to see. But that's a negative x and then minus 5y minus 5z. So I'm going to go ahead by starting. I'm going to input all the coefficients from the left side of the equation because the x's are all lined up, the y's are all lined up, the z's are all lined up. So I'm just going to put those coefficients into a matrix and call that A. Then I'm going to put 2, 19, and negative 20 into another matrix and call that B. So this matrix is going to be a 3 by 3. A will be a 3 by 3. And B will be a 3 by 1. 3 rows, 1 column. And then I'm going to multiply the inverse of A times B, and that will give us the answer, just like we did last class. So let's start. Did I record that? I don't know if I did that. Matrix A times the variables equals matrix B. A is a 3 by 3. And B is a 3 by 1. So when we multiply the inverse of A by B, we can't put it on this side because that would be a 3 by 3 and we wouldn't be able to multiply our matrices in that order. However, we can put it on this side because we can put it right there. So I can multiply on both sides on the left side of the matrix, or the equation I should say, by the inverse. That way these will cancel, x will be isolated, and so all I have to do on the calculator is multiply the inverse of A times B, and that will give me the answers. And that's what we're about to do. So let's do it. Calculator. All right, so I'm going to use the store method, just because I like that method. So I'm going to edit and make this a 3 by 3. And now I'm going to enter in all the leading coefficients. Make sure you use the negative button and not the minus. Otherwise, you will get an error. Negative 1. Negative 5. And I've got to be careful because if I'm even off by one number or one sign, then the whole thing is wrong. All right, let me check it. That looks good. Okay, now I'm going to input my values for matrix B. And matrix B is a 3 by 1. And those values are 2, 19, and negative 20. Negative 20. Now I'm just going to go back to the home screen and do the inverse of A. So that's going to be matrix A. I need the name. And then push the inverse button, which is x to the negative 1. It's right here. Boom. Times matrix B. And there we go. This means that x equals negative 2, y equals negative 3, and z equals 3. Much easier, much faster than doing that by hand and solving for one variable and at a time, which is how I had to do it in college. So that is what these problems look like when you actually get there's a solution to the system. Problem 8, as I was telling you guys last class, if you get an error on your calculator, we're going to go through this and we're going to get an error. That means either we have no solution or all real numbers. And back from Algebra 1, and I explained this last class, but I'm just going to explain it again. If you have two equations, like y equals 2x plus 1, okay? Now I'm going to take that equation and I'm going to multiply through that equation by a number, like 2, okay? 2y equals 4x plus 2. We know that those equations they're exactly the same line. If I graph them, they're going to be right on top of each other, which means that when you're asked to find the solution to the system, every single point on one line is on the other line. So the answer is just all real numbers. However, if I keep the slope and I change the y-intercept and make it, some other number, okay? These lines have the same slopes, but they have different y-intercepts. So these lines are parallel, so they never intersect. So they have no points in common, so there's no solution to the system. So the solution to this system would be no solution. And so when you get an error, like problem number 8 is going to give us when we do it, it's either going to be all real numbers or no solution. This one's no solution because you can see we've got 5, 5, 5, negative 20. I'm not just multiplying through the next equation by, a 2 or a 3 or a 0.5 or something. Clearly these are, they're not like the first example where it's all real numbers. So this is going to be no solution. But let's go ahead and do it and just see what happens on the calculator, see what it looks like when we do that. So our A is still going to be a 3 by 3. And our A's, B's, and C's are already lined up, so we don't have to move anything around. And our B matrix is still going to be a 3 by 1. So I'm just going to go in there and edit my A and B and put in the new values. So second matrix, edit. I'm going to start with A. I'm going to keep it 3 by 3. And I'm going to put in 5, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3, negative 4, 3, 3. Now I'm going to B, second matrix, edit, B, still 3 by 1. Those values are negative 20, negative 6, and 9. And then I'm ready to multiply. So second matrix, now I need the name of A, the inverse of A, times matrix B, matrix B. There we go, okay? So I don't know if you've got new software, this message might be slightly different, but that's kind of how it looks. Questions? Yes.
How do you tell if it's all real numbers or no solution?
The calculator isn't going to tell you.
Yeah.
So you just have to look at kind of what I was explaining before and determine that by looking at your equation. If you get an equation that looks like, okay, let's say it was 5. Let's say we take the original equation, keep that the same, okay? And then the next equation was clearly this exact equation multiplied through or divided through one number. Like let's say they divided all those numbers by 5. And then the next equation was also, you could tell the same thing had happened. That would be, they would all be the exact same lines, and then you would know that that would be all real numbers.
Okay.
But since these are clearly not all the same, then we know that it's going to be no solution. What else? What is it? We're done? Do you guys like math at this time? Anyone have anything to say to America before I sign off? And this class is quiet today. Anyone want a cameo? Going once? Going twice? Sold.